let me give you some instructions on coding burns. I know that this is a difficult section, so I want to be sure to give you some guidelines on this and walk you through an exercise just so that you'll be aware of how to code burns. First of all, in Chapter 6 of your step-by-step textbook, if you'll turn to page 182, and at the top of the page I want to read this paragraph here because it's very, very important. And this is: the guidelines for burns direct you to sequence the highest degree of burn first. If you're coding a third-degree burn of the hand and a second-degree burn of the chest wall, then you would sequence the code for the third-degree burn of the hand first, meaning that's the one you're going to list first, and then secondly, you're going to list the second-degree burn of the chest. Keep that in mind anytime there are two different sites and the burns are not at the same local site. You are going to always code the highest degree first. So if you have third-degree burns at one site and second-degree at another site, you're going to code the third-degree burns first. If you have them at the same local site, you're only going to code the highest degree. For instance, if you have first-degree burns and second-degree burns on your hands, you're only going to code second-degree burns of the hands. You do not code both. If it's at the same site, you only code the highest degree of burns. With that in mind, let's look at page 185 in your textbook, and this is exercise 6-10. And I want us to look specifically at number 3, and it says first and second degree burn, right foot, 2 1/4% due to bonfire. Now what we want to do here, first of all, is you're going to take your ICD-9 manual, and if you'll open this up, the first thing you're going to look for in the alphabetic index is the word burn. So if you'll open up to burn, and once you find burn, we are looking for foot because it has been burn of the foot. So we are going to look for burn and all the way down to foot, and it's actually in the middle of the page on 179, and it gives you here foot 945.02. Now if you look down a little further, it gives you second degree burn of the foot, and that gives you 945.22. Now that's more specific because it does tell us first and second degree burns of the right foot. Again, remember that you will not code the first degree burns because the burns are at the same local site. It doesn't matter if they're top of the foot, bottom of the foot, where it is. If it's on the foot, it's considered the same local site. So you won't code that first degree burn, you'll just code second degree burns of the right foot, and in this case that gives us code 945.22. So at that point we're going to flip back to our tabular list and look up that code 945.22. And once you get back to this section, it's actually on page 1136. And 945.2 lists blisters, epidermal loss, second degree, and that is what we're looking for, is second degree burns of the lower limb. It also gives you a red dot there beside 945.2, which tells you that you need a 5th digit. You're going to need an additional digit there. So it gives you in the blue box or the gray box just above that the digits that you can use as the 5th digit for category 945. So in this case, we are looking at burns of the right foot, so we're going to pick the 5th digit that pertains to foot, which is 2. So your complete code there is 945.22. Okay, and then you're also going to need to give a code for the percentage that has been burned here, and remember this category is 948. That gives the percentage or the extent of the body surface that's involved, and it's actually just on the opposite page in your manual, page 1137, 948, and in this case we're looking at the codes that are listed underneath. We've got 2 1/4%, which is less than 10%, so we're going to look at 948.0. Again, it gives you a red dot there, which indicates you need a 5th digit. So look in the gray box just above that, and actually this 5th digit has to be the percent of the body surface that has third degree burn. And if you'll notice in our statement here on number 3, first and second degree burn of the right foot, It doesn't tell you anything about third-degree burns. So we are to assume at that point that there are no third-degree burns involved. So we're going to do less than 10% because it's 0%. So in that case, our code would be 948.00. So the two codes there are 945.22 and 948.00. And then in addition, you would need to add an E-code to indicate the bonfire. And in this case, that E-code is E897. Also, if you would pay attention to number 5 in this same exercise, exercise 6-10 in your textbook, number 5 gives you second-degree burns of the right forearm and first-degree burns of the right hand and third-degree burns of the chest wall. And in this case, remember that you will code the third-degree burns first, then you're going to code the second-degree burns, then the first-degree burns. And then you're also going to need a code for the body extent involved. So if you will, please go through that number 5 also. And the answers are in the back of your book that give you the answer to that number 5, and see how well you do on that one. This is a good section, especially this exercise 6-10, to get you prepared for coding burns. Just keep in mind, if it's at the same local site, you only code the highest degree of burn. If they are different sites, you always code the highest degree first. In a case where you had second-degree burns of the arm and second-degree burns of the face, you could code either of those first because it's the same degree of burn. But if they were different degrees, you would always code the highest degree first.